Hello, are you out there? It's Mark with Redo Over, and we are back to Stellaris 4.0 with no DLC. We're on about episode 20 now, but things are rolling pretty good. We got some aliens out there. We got some colonies going. Where did we leave off? Listen, we got our Patutskis kicked out of our fleets down here in the galactic east-southeast. We ran into a pretty good-sized alien fleet. I think it was around 3K, and we sent in 1.6K or something like that, or they were 2K. We did some damage to them. I can see that the alien fleet is reduced to around 1K right now. So in the comments, somebody suggested a really solid strategy to this. When you've got 12 or 20 or 40 Corvettes, you can break your Corvette fleets apart into very small fleets. You could have a single Corvette for all intents and purposes. There's no, as far as I'm aware, there's no limit to how many fleets you can run. There's a limit to how many ships you can put into a fleet or how many total ships you can have through the naval capacity, but you can just have individual ships scooting around. So if you were to take, say, 4 or 5 individual Corvettes by themselves and then send them off to explore, I'm air quoting explore here, just drive them into the nearest adjacent systems, it would essentially open them up for you to see where there are hostiles and potentially where there are potentially habitable planets. You wouldn't be able to do much else, but that's really valuable, and it would have prevented the massive wipeout we had of our fleet. So that's a lesson learned. Now, to be fair, that's a little bit micro, but I think because you can't send your Corvettes out like 4 or 5 systems, they just can't go that far without surveying. It's like unknown territory. So I'm not exactly sure what the mechanic is, but essentially science ships can just travel and travel and travel. But I know your civilian ships, like a constructor or something, can only go so far into uncharted territory. And I think the same is true with your military ships. They can only go so far afield. But the point is that I think you would always be able to travel a couple of systems beyond your known boundaries, or the known surveyed systems, we'll say. So I don't think it would be mechanically too hard. And again, you don't have to do it with like 10 ships. Usually you're traveling down one of 3 or 4 branches of the galaxy, arms of the galaxy. So really you'd only maybe need like 4 Corvettes to do this pretty effectively, and it might help save your science ships occasionally as well. Now, there's one other thing that maybe we could have done that I didn't have set right by default. With your individual fleets, you can come in, and they essentially have a disposition, a fleet stance. In this case, the new ship, which is our raiders we found. We got 3 raiders, if you recall, from an anomaly. Current fleet stance is set to passive. The fleet will not move towards hostile agent targets, but will enter combat if the hostile targets move close enough. So let's toggle through the options real quickly. We can go to aggressive. The fleet will automatically attempt to enter combat with hostile targets in the same system, and passive and aggressive. Okay, those are the only 2 toggles. It's an on or off switch. So I would encourage you to make sure that your military fleets are in fact all set to passive, in particular since we are playing pacifists. That's a good idea. We don't want to be just attacking every Xeno. Now, to be fair, there you go. The hijacked fleet is set to aggressive. I don't know why. They might have come to us that way because they were hijacked and then we got them back from the hijackers. So I'm going to I can't toggle it. So I probably can't toggle it because they're missing in action, but I'm going to try and set a mental cue to make sure all of our fleets are kept in passive mode while we are doing shenanigans around the galaxy. It just seems like a really good idea to me. So let's try this out. We have our remaining fleets up here. Let's grab one of our raiders. Let's see here. We can split the fleet. And you can see that broke that out to a 2 of 2 raiders. Of course, we have the single salvage ship, which is a big cruiser, yeah. And we have 1 of 3 raiders here. So the raider's a good ship. It's actually equivalent to a couple Corvettes, but I'm willing to send it out. So let's close down these 2. And we're going to send it to this unknown Okay, so just so you know, the borders with the Tal Akuran hegemony are not closed to us. We have open borders both ways, so that's not a bad thing, right? We're pretty peaceable with each other. Migration treaties, research treaties, that all makes sense. But here I have an unknown system. We need a science ship with a scientist or a military fleet led by a commander to explore a system that we have no intel on. There you go. That's the part I was missing. So, it's a little tricky because if you put a commander, for everything I just said, if you put a commander on that individual raider and you send them to go exploring the galaxy, right? You got Dora, this military explorer, they could die and you might not get them back. So do we do that? Do I put a commander on this right now? Do I have any available commanders? Gosh, I got good commanders. Can I hire? I have 3 of 3 commanders, so I don't really have available commanders, but that is why. So check it out. The Belt Manglers and the Hijack Fleet each had a commander is what allowed them to go explore other systems. So that, in this case, is not going to work. I don't want to hire other commanders right now because I'm a cap of 3. So, wow. I learned something. I guess you learned something too. Yeah, I was just thinking, wow, like, do I need to edit that out? No, I just didn't know. It was an idea presented to me, and it's a sound idea. And that is the point of having your fleets, is to go do a little bit of exploring and tackling the enemy. But with a smaller fleet, yeah, maybe you send in like 3 corvettes. One of them has a commander. This is just an idea. That way, if you get into a hostile situation, it's possible that they will have time to jump out because there's multiple targets. So I say that as an example because we've seen like 300 firepower, 600 firepower, 1K firepower enemy fleets. If you have 1 corvette and all 12 of the enemy mining drones target on it alone, very good chance it won't survive long enough to jump out. So to protect your commanders, maybe you do need them in a small fleet. If anyone has a good idea of how those numbers would work out, let me know. Certainly having the hijack fleet in aggressive mode was probably a big part of why we had that total wipeout. So it's a balancing act. You could put a commander on a big ship like a cruiser, like the Raspberry Rapscallions, and have that beefy boy 635 firepower right over here go poking around the galaxy. Is that a good use for one of those odd standalone ships that you can't fleet up with anyone else? They can't be joined into a larger fleet anyway, and they're relatively robust. You know, if they came up against, 10, 10 corvettes, they could probably last long enough to potentially jump out. It's a tough ship. It's a big ship. So there's food for thought. I might try and put a leader onto the Raspberry Rapscallion, and we'll give that a try later here. But we need our leaders back in general. All that said, I hope we all feel smarter now for having the conversation. Let's just run this clock forward. What are we doing here? Come on. I'm going to leave it at fast mode, though, because I was having a little bit trouble running at fastest last time with stuff skipping past while I was trying to pause and read what was going on. So here, let's see. Missing in action. These are our fleets up here. Just a quick summary. They are due back in the next year or 2. It's going to be a bit. What else do we have here? Time Project. That's the debris from our destroyed ships. We don't need to go research it. And we could, but there's mining drones there, which will destroy our science ships. So first contact event pending. This is we're still gathering information on the alien spacecraft in the Eldamar system. And we in fact have Big Alex working on that. Difficulty 7. Jeez, that is, I'm not giving him good odds on that one. Of course, we have the available council agenda, which is still We Come in Peace. We don't want to mess with that just yet because of the naval cap hit. We'll dismiss that. We have an anomaly found. Do we have time to research the anomaly? Yeah. So check it out, folks. We are essentially trying to claim the Ejok system and the Dwumgar system. But the big limitation there is that we just don't have enough influence. I really look, this has some exotic gases here as well. So I'd really love to get that system. And we have 2 science ships currently working on this. They're investigating both systems. Yeah, I think we could have one of these science ships take a break to. Oh, oh, I've already left it for now. Okay, never mind. Okay, proved myself wrong. Who just completed the Wegmore? Fantastic. You can see Wegmore is right here. There is an archaeological site in the system, and we'll just take a quick look at the system. It's relatively busy. Quite a bit of minerals, quite a bit of science coming off of Wegmore 4. We have 10 society research. That's really good. But yeah, let's see what Wegmore has. No specials that we can see. It's a large planet, and it looks like it's particularly suitable for agriculture, which is not a thing we need. Yeah, we're hovering on that. I don't want to make an entire farming world. I just don't. So that being said, we currently have our capital, which is sort of our catch-all, does a little bit of everything. That's good. We have a dedicated mining world, the dedicated industrial world, the dedicated generator world. Sorry, I was so here's what I would like to see. I would like to split Elisa Prime from an industrial world to a foundry world making alloy, and then essentially Wegmore Prime to a manufacturing world. Sure. We're not going to do that just yet, though, because I want to make sure Wegmore is on its feet before we drastically... Look, if we go to Elisa Prime and we convert it from one to the other, we might lose all of our consumer goods, or we might lose all of our alloys. So we don't want to make this split on this planet and divide it, specialize it more until Wegmore or Raltree or Jarrell War are ready to take up that load a little bit. Meaning we're going to have to get like 500 pops there, 800 pops, so they can do the actual workload in the buildings and have some buildings built. So in the meantime, well, Wegmore Prime, what do they need? Let's get them the standard. Let's get them, which our standard right now is going to be luxury residence, because it requires no workers, but it automatically boosts population, amenities, and housing. And we have a good amount of minerals, so this is all reasonably priced. And let's get that medical center for growth. So at this point, if we jump back to Fula, we should have a medical center and a luxury residence on every planet, right there and there. Also, the Autochthon Monument I'm pretty interested in. So we don't have a medical center on Elysia Prime. I propose we get rid of the temple and get a medical center in there. So let's do this. Let's click on the temple. We're going to replace this building with the medical center. So I think when you do replace, it will keep... Let me see here. Replace. We can queue the construction project to replace the building with another. The current building will remain in operation until the construction is complete. That's why we don't outright demolish it. It's going to make sure that we're getting the benefit of that temple as long as possible. When the medical center is done here in 240 days, it will switch off and it will disappear, and we'll have a new medical center. And then those people can be employed gainfully the entire time. Let's keep moving through real quick. Castro Prime has the luxury residence, and I'm going to get them a medical center right now. I know they don't really have enough people for all this, but we might as well be moving forward on these structures. So there we go. That will give all of our current colonies the luxury and the medical center. Then from there, we'll get Autochthon monuments or whatever specialty buildings they need. Okay? Run the clock. Zoom out a little bit here to get a better view of the galaxy. We're not really doing anything with our gosh darn military fleets here. Hold on, I'm going to jump in. Let's recombine this. Let's move this down to here. There we go. We recombined the two fleets. We've already decided that we might want to use the Raspy Rascallion to explore. So let's leave the Stardust Corsairs where they're at, and let's take the Raspy Rascallion and send them back to Fu. We'll get them in a position where maybe we could get a commander on board and have them start sussing out some of these arms of the galaxy here. Construction complete down here at Ejok. Oh, good. We had already claimed it. Oh, that's much better. Okay, then that means what? Edelmar's ours. So what's the Atalante doing? They're investigating that. Oh, I see. Duumgar's already surveyed. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we're just kind of working on anomalies right now. I guess we could try and survey this little back system here. Neither of our... Oh, no, they're ready to go. Yeah, let's send them in there. Survey that system. We can always come back and get this little guy here. All right, I think that let me close down my military fleets. I think everybody has a good job to do right now. Fantastic. We'll run the clock forward. Construction complete at EJOC. Let's have our Conway work on that research station and a mining station. I don't see the mining station. Oh, that's odd. I'm going to pause that real quick, folks. Why, when I click on the Conway, does it show that there's a mining station and a research station? Is the trade considered mining now? Anyone? Build the mining station. Oh, you don't get trade for free. Oh, that's okay. That's a big change in 4.0. So in the past, trade would just exist in as long as you had a star base with the ability to collect trade, like a trade hub or whatever, you would bring it in. But now you just build a mining station to gain trade, like it was minerals or energy. I did not know that. Cool-ish. Cool-ish. I mean, remember, every station we make takes 1 energy. So 2 trade for 1 energy? It takes 1.3 trade to get a single energy. So that is to say that a 2 energy station is probably a bit more valuable than a 2 trade station. If you were to reduce it to the most basic things, such as food or mineral or energy, the trade is not as valuable as a food, a mineral, or an energy at a base value. However, trade is more versatile because you could buy anything with some of the trade. Just it's less efficient to buy anything with trade, right? There's that trade. It's about 30% less efficient to buy something with trade than to just have it outright. I'm not going to get too hung up on it. Let's give them the commands. I'm just going to shift left click there and queue both of those up. So I will build a mining station for the trade. I guess that also means I have a mining station for trade here at Wegmore. I never did. Shrug. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Running the clock forward here, folks. And I know we're going to jump into Castor Prime here when it's done with this project. The medical center, we're going to look into some electrical specialization, generator specialization. Crushed cruiser. This could be another cruiser, folks. The shattered remnants of a cruiser-sized starship has been detected in a decaying orbit deep inside the atmosphere of Edelmarth 3. It appears to adventure too far in. Yeah, we've read this one before. The vessel's too deep to salvage. So we can't pull it up. But we got 335 engineering. I will take it. I really wanted to salvage the damn thing, but it is what it is. Colony established. We're going to pause right there so we can take a quick look. First contact pending. We have discovered a new life form on Tunabo, although calling it a life form might be incorrect. The entities appear to be fully automated mechanical drones built exclusively for some unknown industrial purpose. Keep looking, but use caution. That's right. Mad Baldessari is working on that right now. We would hope to pacify the mining drones. That's our goal, or at the very least, harvest their parts for some new technology. They don't have spirits because they are machines, and we're spiritualist pacifists. So although we don't normally kill other life forms, we as spiritualists do not consider the mechanical abominations to be alive. So we can't murder them. There you go. It all works out if you think about it hard enough, folks. Here we go. Here's Jarrell War. It has no specials that I can see. It is 13 size, so moderate size, not really big, and it's a great generator world. A lot of slots for generator. Let's just compare that to Castor Prime real quick. Castor Prime's equally as good, although several of its spots are currently blocked. Shouldn't be an issue. Jarrell Prime, though, is not going to become a generator world at this point. What do we want to do with her? Let's switch this over to an ecclesiastical world. Sure. We'll go to designations here. We'll scroll down to ecclesiastical center right there. But before we start building temples, we know that we want to get our luxury residence and our medical center going. We'll get those built up, and we're just going to keep pushing forward on buildings now. Little cautious. We don't want empty buildings that need pops to function that don't have pops to function, because we're just wasting energy on the upkeep. So although we're starting to build out because we've got the minerals, we don't want to go too nuts. You could just fill up every building slot and develop every district. But for example, if we fill up 5 buildings, just say that on average that's going to be 5 energy, and then we beef up our generator districts, we fill up all 8 of these, right? We're just going to, because we can go up to 10 additional districts right now. So that would be 5 plus 8. Yeah, generator districts also take upkeep, folks. So on this one colony with maybe only 100, 200, 300 people, we could be spending 13 energy on building maintenance. Roughly unused. Like even our assembled ship shelter takes energy. It's taking 1 energy right now. So you get the idea. Between districts and buildings, if you're not using them, you are losing. And in this, for example, where we've wasted 13 and 12, or we'll say a dozen energy, if we did that across 4 or 5 new colonies, that's now 50 energy just flushing down the toilet because we just built out. We spent a decade just building with every mineral we had, all the districts. It's all ready to go, waiting for the people to come. But in the meantime, that's a boatload of extra energy. So build is kind of on demand, or just a building or district ahead would be my recommendation. Okay. Otherwise, we run that little clock forward. And I'm really keeping an eye here on the influence, which will hopefully let us claim the Dwongar system. Dwongar. You guys know what I'm saying. Do we have any other constructors that are sitting on their behindies right now? Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, this guy's waiting at Cyban. Can't do anything else because we don't have the influence. And the other folks are here. Yeah. Okay. No, we're fine. They're not. There's nothing else they can do. Anomaly found by the Kugan-Amon. Let's take a look real quick. That's down here to the south. Easy. Our initial scans have caught an irregular signal reminiscent of our own distress patterns. This is distress signal around Tanobo 8. We will investigate for the time being. Yeah, we're doing pretty good down here, by the way. We have 2 survey ships just surveying away, doing investigations. They've kind of got all the time in the world, at least for the time. We'll dismiss that. I see we have a whole boatload of alloys built up now. We want to be careful, though, because we could fill up these. Do we get our fleets back? Just a second. Open up the military fleets. Oh, good. We got the belt manglers back. They need to repair, and we're going to hit the repair button right now. They'll get fixed up very quickly. They're going to the Fue station. And the Stardust Corsairs should be back any moment. Any moment here, folks. Just keeping an eye on this. We got 3 ships out that I would love to get back in one piece. Perfect. The nice thing also is the Raspberry Rapscallion is a back around to the Fue station, so that's been time well spent. Repairs completed down here, and can we run upgrades on any of our fleets? No. Oh, here's the hijack fleet. They are back. We're going to send them for repairs as well. So, yeah, things got a little brutal there. We didn't lose everything, and we're sitting at 26 out of 34 total fleet capacity for the time being. Yeah, we'll want to beef up, maybe combine down these fleets. Let's take a quick look here. Can we take the Raspberry Rapscallion and reassign whoever's in charge of the hijacked? Well, maybe the Stardust Corsairs? Who's running? No, I'm sorry. Hijacked fleet. I want to take their leader out. I'm going to take Bad Luck Lawrence. Oh, hold on. Empty leader slot. There we go. Raspberry Rapscallions now has Bad Luck Lawrence in command. 1 guy, 1 ship to go exploring the galaxy, okay? Now, I want to jump in here at the Fue station, and let's combine these 5 corvettes up into this fleet here. Just like this. Boom. They can't do it because they're not in the same place. I'm guessing they are returning to the Fue station. Hold on. They'll be there shortly. They're actually traveling to the stations. They probably jumped in out at the border of the system, and they're flying to the station. So hopefully we'll be able to join them up. Lost in space. The signal we intercepted was a distress call from a ship in orbit around Tanobo 8. The ship is not giving off any heat signatures and seems to be drifting. A special project has been issued to investigate what happened to the crew. Intriguing. Issue the special project derelict ship. We don't have time for this. It just, you get nothing. No, we're going to definitely be intrigued. Pause that clock here. Let's jump up to our situation. Derelict ship available, and we have a science ship in orbit. We're going to research it. Let's just knock it out here. And if you recall, Tanobo is down here. So we've got time to do that while we're surveying those systems. All right. And did the hijack fleet finally arrive? Let me just visually jump in here. Oh, yeah, you see them? Look, they just got there. So that was why we couldn't transfer commanders, I think. It's because they were in flight. Or, sorry, so why we couldn't combine fleets because they weren't in the same place. So now, if we grab these 5, drop them in here, there we go. Simple, simple. We're now to 19 of 25 fleet power, which isn't bad. And we will give them the command to complete repairs there, folks. So we're down to just 3 fleets now. I could see beefing up the Stardust Corsairs with, those are our raiders. I would like to get a few more ships with them. But we don't have a shipyard over here at the Castor system. It's okay for now. Construction complete at Ejok, and survey completed at the Hauer system, which is... oh my gosh, right there. Okay, cool. What else can this science ship work on down here? Well, they could go survey the anomaly, but not with the Xenos there. They could... can they survey here? No, you can't survey a system in someone else's borders, unfortunately. We could... yeah, we can't get past Ditram. Wow, we are really running out of stuff to survey, folks. I'm torn because, again, I see that the ISS Free Pearl has Golden Rackham, who is an archaeologist. We could have them start working on a couple of these archaeological sites. We have 2 of them within our space. But I just feel like we might want them to continue on surveying as soon as we bust through some of these sort of stuck areas. Ditmar has 683 fleet power. Sorry, Ditram. So we could send in the fleets with the rapscallions and blow them up pretty damn good. Let's see about doing that. Let's grab the rapscallions and send them to Escaminza. We'll get them in position, and we're waiting for the belt manglers are repaired, right? Fully repaired? No, still repairing. All right. Well, it's a plan. How about this? Let's get the Free Pearl in position then. Let's get them just back to Escaminza, and they'll sit there for the time being. We'll close this down. Special project complete. It didn't tell me what project that was. Hold on. Looking at my Situ log here. Translating Explorer's text. We're still going on that. What else do we got here? Jump into my technologies. Oh, something finished. I don't know what it was. That sucks. Repair is complete. All right, here we go. We're going to grab the... yeah, right here. The belt manglers. We're going to send them down to Escaminza. So we're going to assemble around 2K fleet power to blast through this 600. And that'll at least open up our ability to continue exploring. So I like that for the time being. I don't like how flat that is. And we got some values in the red. We're -2 food right now, and we are at -7 consumer goods. So consumer goods are going to need attention eventually. Food, we could probably handle just by jumping out of the market here and reducing how much food we're selling. Let's put this down to 15. That will correct us and pop us back up to about a +3 on food. We're keeping that around 0, which is great. We have a ton of surplus. We have surplus trade, so we can afford to lose a little bit. And we're only buying 3 consumer goods. I don't want to fix that with consumer goods purchases. What we need to do is get some structures built that can make consumer goods. So if I look at Wegmore Prime, and I know that I want them to be a consumer goods world, a factory world, right there. That's going to allow them, upkeep for artisans is at -20%. Okay, cool. Currently, there's tons of jobs available. And let's start off with specialization. Yeah, let's just jump in here. Choose a specialization. We could do mixed industry, which would be a balance between metallurgists and artisans, but we say no. No, we want civilian industries here. And there's actually quite a few. Should we look through these real quick? Yeah, episode 20. What the heck? We can still take time to learn stuff. So you have urban expansion, which would be 3 building slots and an additional 200 housing. It doesn't exactly tell us what we could put in here, like what type of buildings. This is one of my critiques, is it doesn't tell you what buildings are suitable here. But I'm guessing luxury apartments, right? Maybe an Autochthon monument, maybe a hollow theater, city buildings, I would guess. Okay, mixed industry. We know that that's going to add metallurgist jobs, artisan jobs, minus 200 housing. I'm guessing the buildings you can put in there would be things like foundries and factories for alloy and mineral production. Heavy industry is extra metallurgist jobs with minus 200 housing. So the idea is you're making a factory zone, an industrial zone in your city or your planet. So you lose housing, you lose parks and apartment buildings and all that. So that would specialize to alloy. Civilian industry is the exact same numbers, but for artisan jobs, for consumer goods. Artisans make consumer goods. Let's look at archives. This is a split of physicists, biologists, engineers, and priests, 40 priests actually. So that's kind of a well-balanced district. I think we actually have like a archive-style world on Fulla, our main capital. That means if you're focusing just on like your minerals, your generator stuff, your alloys, your hard, resources, having an archives specialty would get you that little bit of research, that little bit of unity coming in if you're not focusing on anything else. So, but it is a total mix, and it does cost housing as well. We have a research enclave. This essentially is fascinating. You only get 90 jobs, not 100 jobs. Oof. Think about that. All these others we've looked at net you a total of 100 jobs. The archives is 20, 20, 20, and 40. But Research Enclave gives you 30, 30, and 30. And it still costs you negative 200 housing. These scientists are some bougie bitches. They need their elbow room to do their science, I guess. That's crazy. That sucks. Beyond the Research Enclave, you have 3 technology specialist types of enclaves: the physics, the society, and the engineering research specializations. So each of these would yield you a proper 100 jobs, but just in that one research category, it still costs you the minus 200 housing. So in that sense, these are more efficient than having a research enclave by 10 jobs. Interestingly, though, when they did the mixed industry, they didn't shave off 5 jobs from metallurgists and artisans so that the mixed industry was 10 jobs less efficient than heavy industry and civilian industry. So it's kind of like they're punishing you for not specializing, but just with research. Okay, we just have a few more here. We have the Spiritualist Enclave, 100 priest jobs. That sounds so good, folks. Oh my gosh. I just want to cram as many priests in there as possible. Just have them doing priestly stuff with each other, getting all that priest juice for us. It's going to be good. We have Planetary Defense Specialization. That's 100 soldier jobs. And remember, soldier jobs yield naval cap, which is a new thing. So it makes them more useful, to be honest, because before there weren't a lot of reasons to build soldiers with most civilization builds. Commercial Nexus, 100 trader jobs that would literally yield trade. Okay, and minus 200 housing. Generator support. This is trader jobs plus 50. Resource produced from technicians plus 20%. Upkeep per 100 technicians is plus 0.6. Trade upkeep. Interesting. So, gosh, it almost means like it's like an energy market as well as energy production. Is kind of what it sounds like to me. Now, this would be interesting because you could put this specialization up here on a generator world. So not only could you focus on generator districts and specialize your generator district, but you could specialize your city districts to also produce more generator support. And we might do something like that on a world like Castor Prime. I could see doing that. What else do we have here? Mining support and farming support. Those all read essentially the same way as generator support. So you can see that you can hit any of your incoming resources, everything across the top. energy credits, minerals, food, consumer goods, alloys, trade, influence, and unity, and research can all benefit from these specializations. The one thing I am not seeing right now is something that would allow you to boost your production of strategic resources. Possibly that's there, but we haven't found it yet because we haven't gained the technology to harvest any given strategic resource. But it's possible once we get that technology, there will become a new specialization that is for producing additional volatile motes, exotic gases, rare crystals. Because you can actually make buildings that manufacture those things with enough inputs. So that's a future technology. So maybe. All right, that's fine. We know, though, for Wedmore Prime, yeah, let's specialize these suckers as civilian industry. We are not desperately, we're minorly falling behind on consumer goods. That's only going to get worse and worse the more and more priests we have consuming goods to make unity like priests do. You know how it is. They got to consume a lot of goods to preach to people, I guess, to talk, just spread faith. No, I'm not going to think about it too hard, what they're doing there. But yeah, let's get them working on that. What else do we have here? Let's jump to our mining world. We have not unlocked mineral purification, so we can't really help with that. We could unlock the specialization, though, for... Hold on. Scrolling down. Mineral support. Yeah, let's do it. What else we got? Industrial world at Elisa. They're a mixed industry right now. We're not going to change it yet. Remember, we can't afford to mess this up just yet. And then at our generator world, we're going to click on the generator district specialization available. It looks like there's two options here. Energy generation, which is just an extra 100 technician jobs and 3 extra building slots. This is very similar to the city district specialization, but remember, this does not cost us minus 200 housing, right? So it's slightly different because people don't really live in your generator districts. Is that? Well, no, they do. It just doesn't cost you housing. Okay, well, that's good. It's just straight up jobs. So I would like to do that. But I also want to point out there's the energy research support structure you could put here. Fascinating. This would give you 50 technician jobs and 50 physicist jobs. Resource production produced from physicists would be plus 10%. Upkeep goes up. Energy upkeep per physicist goes up by 2.5, which is considerable. That's a lot. So you would build an energy research support in your generator districts if you were on a research specialization world, which we don't have. But you can see it essentially goes both ways. City districts can support your we'll say your base districts, your generator, your mining, your farm districts. I'm also guessing that mining is going to give you the specialization instead of engineering, and that probably farming would give you the specialization for society, social research. Just guessing. It works somewhat with the colors. No, not really. Green, yeah, because the blue and the yellow, but together they make green. That means nothing. Yeah, you get what I'm saying, though. There's really ways to super hyper focus. If you get all of your specializations done in all your districts the right way, you can really drill down on boosting one thing that a colony produces, along with your colony specialization pop-up tab that I just highlighted there. So you can specialize at the colony level here. You can specialize at the city district slots. There's 2 of them. And you can then subspecialize in the base resource production districts. And then you can specialize with the buildings that you put into all those building slots. So, yeah. Now, I point all that out because early on, your main capital is a smorgasbord it's a cornucopia of all the resources. It has to be. It's your home planet. It's where all of your stuff comes from. But eventually, you don't want to have... In the long term, you don't want your other colonies to be unspecialized. And theoretically, you may even go so far as to specialize your capital at some point. When you get to about where we're at here with around 7, 8, 9 colony worlds, and each one can specialize in one thing, you're probably going to be, not probably, you're going to be better off specializing, because they're just going to produce more for less of each resource. It's guaranteed. There's one little drawback though. If you're in a position where you're going to be facing war and invasion, it could be devastating to lose one of your outlying colonies that, say, specializes in food, and you lose that food and you have very little food being made anywhere else. You could be hosed. So maybe you make sure that every colony world produces one district of a food or a mineral or an energy, even though it's not one of those as the main colony. Or up here, it's a research colony, but one of the buildings is dedicated to alloy production. And you despecialize one resource, just one slot, one pick, one district or one building on each of your colonies, so that you have a little bit of overlap, at least if even it's just like 5% of your production is coming from somewhere else. That may be worth doing, especially if you envision yourself getting into some hardcore battles. Or if a war starts and you know it's going to be war you're going to be fighting over the course of 10 years of gameplay, you could jump into all your colonies really quickly, scrap a building or two, not scrap, but like replace it, and actually like sort of just pull back on that efficiency for generality. Efficiency always wins over the generalist, except when other things come into play that are outside the norms of the system. Think of evolution, the way it works on our planet. You know, a bird, a fish is going to specialize and specialize and specialize to fill its niche. But then you go, well, then why would anything go extinct? Because something else changes in the environment. The food is there, but then the ocean becomes more acidic, or a glacier blocks the water source that used to feed you. Temperatures change. A new predator comes into play that wasn't there before. That breaks efficiency. So in that case, who survives the asteroid impacts? The generalists. Things that can eat plant and meat. Things that can eat living things and carrion. Things that can live above ground, below ground. Smaller things that need less calories to survive, that reproduce quicker. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's just a thought. That's just my thoughts there. That has nothing to do with the game. Specialization is awesome. To a point. Robustness matters. That's what I'm saying here, folks. That's what I'm saying. Okay, here we go. Generator district, specialization. Yes, energy generation. And then can we specialize this to generator support? F yeah, we can. So Caster is going to get super specialized very quickly. And I think we're going to stop right there, though, because we are starting to cut into our minerals. So we'll hold off. I want to wait till like Raltree's ready. Take a look at that. So that was a lot of chit chat. I had so much fun talking, though. I love talking. Here we go. Raltree is ready. No specializations. Small world. They are not specialized to any given category. It's a balance between agriculture, mining, and generators, which is fine with me. So, listen, I don't think we need a trade world. I don't want a research world. We've already talked about how we're deliberately avoiding research just for the lulz, honestly. It's funny. And let's go into our districts. We'll start at the top. What are we missing here? Urban world would get us trade. We don't need. We're not going to do mineral, agro, industry, forge, factory world. I can see doing another ecclesiastical fortress world. We don't really need, though, because I think we're going to push up our fleet cap with this. So let's do a second ecclesiastical center. I know it's wild, folks. I know it's wild. I'm still not going to do a farming world. Just, you're probably noticing that. I'm not going to do research, and I'm not going to do a farming world if necessary. Listen, we could build a lot more space stations, and we could put hydroponic bays in there and keep getting more food that way if we need to. But in the meantime, we know that we want a luxury residence and a medical center. There you go. Everyone's kind of working away. Almost everyone's got something going on right now. What's Elisa Prime doing here? Elisa Prime's interesting because they have their alloy foundry. Should we switch this over? How many jobs? We have 250 metallurgists and 50 artisans. Oh, we're almost not getting any consumer goods from that anyway. This mixed industry is doing very little for our artisan jobs. So maybe we could switch it over. Wegmore is going to be our factory world. So yeah, let's switch this mixed industry. How do I get rid of it? How do I change that? Oh boy. Replace? This type of district cannot be demolished? Oh no. Oh shit. I did not know that. I did not know that. Whoa, 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 whoa. What? What is this here? Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh. All right, I learned something new, folks. Let's go back to mixed industry here. I was looking at the city district, not the specialization. I hit the little recycle looking arrow thing here. It brings up our other options, and this would allow me to switch this to a heavy industry metallurgist thing. There you go. That should switch her over. And that took up damn near all of our minerals. So we got to keep going here. But I realized, yeah, so are we going to take a hit on consumer goods? Yeah, we're going to lose 50 consumer goods jobs, but we only had 50 on that world to start with. I think most of our consumer goods must be coming from the capital, Fula. So we're running along here. Oh, we're at 56 influence. We're almost ready to build this. How far? 11 influence, folks. We're going to watch this. We need to get this developed quick here. So quick. And I'm actually watching the system.
System survey complete.
Oh my gosh. If that's a constructor ship, I'm going to scream. Oh my gosh. Please tell me that's not a constructor. Oh no. Would they do that to us? They would. Oh. Oh. We're going to see what happens. I want to cry right now. Oh my gosh. We've been sitting on... Maybe that's a survey ship. Oh. Sorry, beard hair. It happens. Maybe it's a survey ship, but they have not surveyed Dumwongar. Does anyone remember? Dumwongar? I don't remember, but we are literally 7 influence away from having this thing. God. Hold on. Hold on. We're going to do a couple things. Which system do we survey here? Tanobo. Okay. That's good. It's all done. Anything else in this area? No. No, there's no anomalies. Okay. Let's pull them back here to Eskimar. All right, there we go. That's done. Now, let's go to traditions. Yeah, it ain't going to help. I was just thinking if we had a new tradition pick, we could maybe jump into something that would give us a reduction, but yeah, it's not going to work. But here we are, capping off prosperity finally. City districts provide 100 additional housing. That's cool. We'll take it. We don't have anything else to take. We get an ascension perk. Oh, this could do it. This could do it. There may be an ascension that could reduce our claim cost. Which is actually kind of critical right now because it could allow us to expand faster. We are in a race here, so hold on. Let's see what we got. Galactic Force Projection. Max influence from power projection would be +2 if we keep our fleet primed up. Naval capacity +100. Fleet command limit +100. Commander capacity +1. That is good. It's not bad at all. I mean, even though we're pacifists, it'd still be good. Interstellar domination. Star-based influence cost -20%. Claim influence cost -20%. Empire size from systems -50%. It's big. Remember, we have a lot of systems, so we actually have quite a burden. If we mouse up here over our empire size, our systems, we have 20 of them right now, and it's costing us a +15 because our courier networks give us a -25%. So that would knock off 10 from our empire size. It's okay. It's not that bad. By the way, the fact that we are at 149 of empire size is making our technologies and our traditions cost 9% more than before. So there you go. Okay, Grasp the Void. Extra star base capacity, we don't need it. We have plenty of extra star bases if we should choose to build some. Technological ascendancy enables research focus policies and improves rare research options, but we're not technological. Masters of Natures, that's for blocker clearing. We don't need it yet. Imperial Prerogative, emphasized from planets minus 50, +2 officials. Executive Vigor, that's more edicts funds and council agenda speed. We're doing pretty good on our edict funding, I'd say. Transcendent Learning, leaders gain experience, upkeep, and scientist capacity +2, and shared destiny. Subject specialization conversion times and available envoys +2. That is good. I actually do want shared destiny. However, the most useful thing to what we're doing right now is Interstellar Dominion. We're taking it. Yes. We're 49 months from our next pick, by the way. We need to get more priests, folks. We're not pushing up our unity, which is our superpower. However, because of that 20% reduction, we can go to Dwumgar. That's their ship, whatever it is. But check this out. When we click, we can now build that star base for 52 influence, not 67. Alloy cost didn't change. We're going to do it. So we're going to start building it before them. Here, I'm going to watch this stupid ship come in here. Let's see what they're doing. They're probably a survey ship. Let's see. Where are they going? Ah, crap. Stuff's happening. Okay, it is a survey ship. All right, that means we won. We won the thing, and maybe I didn't need to do that. But no, we do need to do it, folks, because listen, we need to plow down this way and get through all these as quick as we can. So it's saving us a lot of influence, right? That's like from 67 to 52 is 15 influence. Coming in at about 3 influence per month, that's about every 5 months quicker we can get another system claim. That is actually really smart. Here we go. We ran into Xenos at Eskima. What the fudge? Where's our other fleet? Both of our fleets are here, on their way to Escaminza. Okay, let's jump into Escaminza. What are we seeing here? This looks like the Ditmar. Yes, those are mining drones. They're alien. They're life. They're not alien. They're not alive. They're an abomination. We're going to destroy them. That was probably this fleet that's moved to there. I'm hoping that the Free Pearl will jump out. Let's send the Kuganamon to Rana to stop there because these guys are on the move. But yeah, I need these guys to get to Escaminza. The two of them together should have no problem destroying that fleet. And they're both 110 and 113 days out. So they'll jump in the same couple of days. So one fleet doesn't get swamped rather than the other. Let's close that down. Close that down. First contact pending. Our attempts to decode the language used in the signals of the CAF aliens have hit a setback. It's unfortunate. -2 insights. So our insights are at 7. Difficulty 7. 69 turns till Big Alex gets another shot. Nice. Skill bonus. Yeah, these guys are a hard nut to crack. But here we go. Physics research. What did we just research here? Up at the very top, survey speed plus 25%. So listen, that extra survey speed is going to stack well with our reduction to starbase influence claim costs. We're going to be able to spread very quickly now, as quick as we care to. But otherwise, we need to choose a new research. Yeah, we've got some decent options here. 5 options. Research station output, research speed. We're going to skip on those because we know about research, but that's cool because it frees us up to get some other stuff going. Why don't we unlock the fusion reactor? And I can see clearly that it would lead to other technology. So I'm going to grab that. It's cheap. We'll have it quickly, 21 months. I like that. And let's just run the clock. Special project completed. After many weeks of study, our expert linguists have unearthed the meaning behind the documents found on Tanobo 2. The documents were a philosophical ponderings of a famous scholar, only referred to as Talise, the Teller of Tales. That's nice. Her teachings have provided us with much insight into how to better gain political results via applying different states of mind and use larger scale questions as a focus for reform. That's mumbo jumbo talk. Here we go. Gives access to the Master Teachings Philosophical Mindset Imperial Edict. The new edict. Yay! We're going to turn it on. We're going to turn on all the edicts, folks. Here we go. I'm gonna pause there real quick. Let's jump into our government. Let's go to policies and edicts. We got a few minutes left here. Here we go. It's nice because it's Unity based, and again, we have a good amount of headroom. It's shrinking a little bit. I think we got rid of one of our temples. That might have hit that a little bit, but we'll get more temples. Here we go. What does this do for us? Well, it's going to research speed for societies plus 5%, recruitable leaders per class, meaning your commanders, your generals, your scientists, your functionaries. I can never think of the word for your politician ones, whatever those are. You guys know. You got your commanders, your scientists, and the nerd brain politician guys. I can never remember what the hell they're called, but yeah, we'll turn it on just because we can. We turn on everything we want. But, yeah, it's awesome. There we go. Yeah, I know you're there. It's just, no, still the same stupid thing. Okay. We're running that clock forward. I'm waiting for our warships to get in here. It looks like the Free Pearl was able to escape and not get destroyed by those Xenos. Now, I see calf aliens down here, and I see lambda aliens. Are the calf aliens up here as well? Holy crud. This is big news, folks. There's a calf vessel down to the south, and there's a calf vessel to the north, meaning that these guys probably have chewed up this entire corner of the galaxy over here. At least this little arm seems to be relatively secure behind Raltree, so we'll get those systems. But we're in a mad dash now down here. I wonder if these guys are going to fight each other? Hold on.
System survey complete.
Okay, so we know that these are mining drones. We can see clearly, and we can also see that they are not interfering with the scans of the calf aliens. So the calf aliens, maniacal and evil as they are, have aligned themselves with the mining drones, the soulless mining drones. Yeah, they're our enemy for sure, folks. Let's dismiss that. Did we just survey? See, Ipiscilia? Okay, there's a lot of minerals there. I actually like that. And you know what's good is we'll get that system as well. We'll be able to jump over and claim that. So, way cool. Close that down. Construction complete. Yeah, so at this point, we are going to use our constructors to build all these in. So yeah, let's start right here at Duumgar. 2 stations for 10 energy. That's really good. We'll let them take care of Ipiscilia at some point in the future, but for now, let's pull this science ship here, the ISS Wise, back to get this research project. Awesome. And these guys are going to pull back to, what, maybe get that mining station for trade? Yeah, what the heck. So we've hit a definite dead end here at Regulus with the Xenos. So we're going to, I guess, just... Wait. Is Regulus claimed? Yeah, it's claimed. I see. We're not seeing the borders of the calf aliens because we have not opened communications with them. So it was confusing to me because I kept going like, why can't I go claim Regulus? Like, why can't I get in here? Well, they've clearly claimed it themselves, but we don't have diplomatic relations to recognize their borders. That's what's going on. That's why there's no boundary for them at this point, which is fine. But yeah. So we're getting all of our ships busy doing stuff here. The Atalante is just sitting there. Ooh, they don't need to do that. Let's have them go work on what? They can work on archaeological find? Sure. They could go to Wegmore and start working on that. They could also work on this anomaly here. What is this? 600-day anomaly? That's probably about as long as it would take them to work on the Wegmore issue. We have a bunch of science ships right now. The question is, what are we doing with them? Could we go back to the Uzun system? Let's do that. Hold on. That's just been sitting there. I'm going to send them all the way back to work on that. I'm curious as to what's in that mystery system. And we actually have another one over here. Oh, here, hold on. Let's jump into here first. Survey there. Yeah, okay. We'll keep them busy for a while. I think we can spare the ship for now. And our fleet should be jumping in here any moment. So let's watch what happens here, folks. We got a comm thing just popped up. Ships are jumping in right there. But let's just check this. Our attempts to learn more about the calf aliens have so far been in vain. We will just keep trying. Difficulty is still set. It's just going to take a whole nother round. We can see, though, their hideous faces now, and they are hostile. Ooh, that is a long-necked monkey bird. That is rough. That is rough. All right, here we come. Fleets incoming. Unexpected mineral seams. Geological surveys on Wegmore Prime revealed that the planet is richer in mineral than we thought. After calibrating our sensors to penetrate deeper into the ground, we've discovered several promising mining sites. Should we direct additional resources to probing efforts, we might yet uncover deeper veins of useful ore. Oh yeah, this is one of those events where you don't want to dig too deep, folks. Listen to Gandalf and J.R. Tolkien. And who said that they dug too deep? Gandalf said that, right? Yeah, they dug too deep. What can we do here? We can ore rich caverns to Wegmore Prime. Add 2 mining districts, just flat out. No funding, just start digging. We get some mining districts. Or funding granted, probe deeper. 1,000 energy. Unfortunately, I know this one, and you got to be careful with it because it can lead to all sorts of. I think it mainly leads to problems. Should we do 1 level of digging, just for the fun of it? I will. Again, I've done this before. I know what happens, but we'll put in 1,000 just so you can see the next part of the event. But I don't think I'm going to pursue all the way through the event because I don't think that's a great outcome. But there we go. And here we go. Fleet fire time. Boom, boom, boom. We should take these guys out in a hurry. Remember, we have a commander in charge of the Raspy Rapscallion right now, which helps. Awesome. We just cleared out the trash, the robo-trash. And the great news is we have ships available. We're going to grab the Free Pearl, send them in to research and dig through the remains, the debris project there. And then the other ship, the Kuganamon, we're just going to send in to move there to pre-position themselves for going to Ditchram. We're then going to take both of our fleets and send them on down here. Ooh, I cannot see how much firepower the Lambda aliens have down here. I'm hoping that we've cleared out most of it. This is old intel, right? This is the problem here. They should be jumping in any moment. Here they come. So we have a few things that we're going to be careful here. We got to check some different stuff, but it looks like those have not updated, so we should be able to win this fight easily and get more debris, hopefully. But here we go. Political frontier. And this will be it for today here, folks. Establishing factions and fledgling movements alike have taken an unusually keen interest in our new colony on Raltree Prime. For the moment, we announced settlement of this modest planet. Nearly every political voice in the Principality of Fulu has something to say about it. So we can say interesting. Political frontier, it for 10 years will add the ethics shift chance of 50%. Meaning ethics can vary. Okay, it doesn't really cost us anything. Risk is too great, bolster security. So we can say politically assured modifier added for 10 years. Unity from jobs is at minus 20%. Government ethics attraction plus 10%. Stability plus 10%. That's just on Raltree. And what are we doing with Raltree? I'm not exactly sure what we're doing with Raltree. Hold on. They are ecclesiastical center. You know what? They're not going to have any priests yet. I'm going to say risk is too great. Bolster security. The stability won't hurt us. And it does mean that they won't be very good at being priests, but we don't have anyone to be priests. We don't even have temples yet. It'll probably be about a decade till that colony's kicking along well, and we won't want that big detriment. Okay, I want our fleet to jump over here, though, so hold on. Let's just grab these guys and redirect them into a fight. Fight's incoming. Probing the underground Wegmore Prime is a tedious process. Our scanners do not react well to the ground composition, and shifts in geological layers mean that we have to recalibrate them every time. Still, we've discovered more exploitable veins in high quality ores. Their depths make the logistics of the mining operation more complex than usual, but it will take more than that to stop us. There is no assurance that additional probing operations will lead us to more mineral veins. So, begin mining operations. This would be minerals from jobs plus 15%, max mining districts plus 4, or there has to be more, you spend more money. I'm going to stop here. I'm just going to take the 15% mineral jobs and the 4% mining districts. That's not bad. I'm also going to jump up here to first contact. Reports of deep space drones in certain systems have been investigated. The drones appear to be workers of custodians of an autonomous orbital mining operation established millennia ago and then soon abandoned by all but the drones themselves. All right, here we go. We can issue a drone study. We'll gain 35 influence right now and ends the first contact procedure with mineral extraction operations. We're going to do that, and we'll probably work on the drone study. We're going to pause that. We did get the influence bonus, which is great. Oh boy. Treachery of the CAF aliens. While some were worried at the incursion of unknown alien vessels into our space, it was not clear until now just how much of a threat the CAF aliens posed. It seems they sent a covert force to intercept one of our cargo vessels in the Edelmar system, seizing the ship and escaping into the depths of space before we can mount a rescue party. We can only imagine what tortures the crew will suffer at the hands of their captors. Worrying. Yeah, I would say. Okay, we got some stuff going on right now here, folks. Real quick, up to the situation log. Situations. Drone study available. Yeah, we're going to work on that right now, 41 months. We want to try and pacify these drones, if possible, or find a way to destroy them more effectively. But something else is going on. Station under attack. Oh my gosh. They're just straight up attacking us at Duumgar. Are they? No. What station's under attack here? Hold on. Hostile fleet present. Are they wrong about station under attack? Give me a second. Give me a second. They're red to us, but that's a science ship, so we're not actually fighting a war right now. I'll tell you what, this could get dangerous really quickly here. Try something. Let's build stations at Duumgar. We're going to take this and we're going to upgrade to a starport for 185 alloy. We have the alloys, and we're going to at Edelmar do the same thing. We are going to make a frontier, hopefully on time, with the CAF aliens here. We got to try and stop them somehow. We'll put some weapons platforms on there, defensive platforms and stuff like that. Wow, that could be potentially bad news. Let's jump back to our fight, though, and we'll finish this out. Blasting away. This should be a simple win for us. Looks like we lost a Corvette or two, maybe. But yeah, that wasn't too bad. And now we can get the Ditchram system surveyed, which I like. So we currently have debris being analyzed there, and we will have the Kugan Amon actually move forward to research projects in the system, and then we'll do the system survey. We'll have both science ships move forward, surveying as they go. We do need to be careful. There's more mining core drones here. There's a lot of ancient mining drones there with 2K and additional CAF aliens here. So this branch of the galaxy is crawling with hostile aliens right now. I think we leave our fleet, though, here at the Ditchram system for the moment. Ditchram may become our new stopping point. I don't know how far the CAF aliens are into claiming this territory. Maybe not. I don't know. But certainly it is a good choke point. So we're going to want to probably survey the system, claim it, and get a starbase built there. We still have a little bit of starbase overhead. The two more we're building will take us to 4-7. That would be 5-7. So that sounds fine. What I'm not sure about, though, is I guess we push our fleet forward one more time to the Zandaban system. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, I think that's our stopping point for today. So, listen, things are looking pretty... Well, it's not pretty good. I think our colonies are in a decent place. Everything's kind of like refactored the way we want it. We just need to work on population. We got medical centers working on that. Our resource inputs are relatively uniform. We're only at -2 food, -2 consumer goods right now, despite all the changes. So that's nice. We've got a decent piggy bank of alloys. We're rebuilding our mineral piggy bank. So we're in a good spot. I would love to find more colonies, but this all looks good. But we have a real threat up here. We're probably going to have to get these stations built and build up more fleet. Do we have a technology that's going to get us naval cap? Yeah, we're 6 months out. When that hits, though, which will be very soon, we will be able to start generating a lot more ships. In fact, in case I were to forget, let's go in here and let's pump out 5 more Corvettes, right? Gives us a little extra alloy in reserve, but yeah, we need to start building up some fleets to back up these systems up here if these aliens are going to be that big of a threat. We have a 2K fleet down here that we're clearing out mining drones with, but it'll also help us protect Ditchram from these calves. But I want to push the calves back. I would love to get them pushed back to Anaxidar. Anaxidar would be a great stopping point because it would get us these 4 more systems if possible. So there's things to pursue. That's it, though. That's long enough for today. If anyone watched, thank you so much. Until next time, take care.